Hello, my friend. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today we have another acrylic pour tutorial. I'll give you a glimpse inside my process step by step as I do this pour. Let's make some magic together. So, as you can see, I'm pouring on my first layer of paint and spreading it nice and evenly across the canvas. Now, I've tried doing this several ways. I've tried doing this with a flat sort of spatula object. Anything sort of flat and a little bit flexible works well. Sometimes I just sort of tilt around until I get it covered, but I find I waste a lot of the paint that way. So in this case, I sort of put it around, but they felt like there were bare areas around the edges. So I just had some gray handy, so I used that. Because why does the base layer have to be all the same color? What the heck? Let's use two different colors. All right, so you'll see me using the heat gun a fair bit. We like to kind of keep the bubbles at bay as we work. Okay, so in this case, we're going to do a dirty cup pour. Dirty cup. And that's when we pour all the paint into the same cup. And in this case, this is actually a commission. So she wanted more of the dusty blues and dusty colors. So that's basically, I mixed grays into the blues and blue greens, just to gray them down a bit and make dusty colors. Kind of reminds me of the 80s where we always had the dusty rose and dusty blues and cottage blues and all those funky little more subtle colors, which is not my normal palette, by the way, but I actually really do. In the end, I ended up really liking it. So with a dirty cup pour, you can pour from higher up so that the colors kind of churn together, or you can lay them in gently. When you lay them in gently, you'll get less color mixing. But when you let them churn and do from high up, they mix together a little bit more, so you'll get a little more subtle, smaller lines. So now, sometimes with a dirty cup pour, I put it upside down on my canvas and then, do it that way. This time I decided just to pour it on. Freehand, freestyle. Freestyling today, freestyling. So today I mixed all the colors, 2/3 with Floetrol and 1/3 paint in the color that I mixed on my own. And then in the colors, that is the blue, purple, and green, I put a couple drops of serum. So what I use is coconut milk anti-breakage serum. And that's a hair product actually. You can find in almost any drugstore or Walmart or whatever. And that's kind of like using silicone. That helps the bit with the cell developments. So now you see me kind of going around in circles. This is the second piece, the one beside. So she only wanted one, but I have a larger table, so I usually do two at a time. So this was my, let's do a different technique on this one. Just doing like the tree circles. So you can tell the age of the painting by how many rings it has, right? So now with the heat gun, I'm popping bubbles, but I'm also helping the silicone or the oil sort of develop cells, because the heat causes the silicone to rise to the top of the paint. And when it does that, it causes those funky little round circles. All right. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm putting it on my spinner. So I got a cake spinner. And then I realized if I just spin that, I'm going to wreck the painting on the left. So I decided to put something between, just happened to be a Neighbor's Day sign that I used a few years ago. So I'm spinning that just to make the paint sort of flow out to the edges and expand the design a little bit. So I'm really loving that right now. It's really cool. Now I'm using silicone, like a silicone, I guess, stylus sort of thing with a pointy top just to draw some creative lines through that nice, wet, thick paint. So this is very intuitive for me. So I don't know that I can tell you exactly what you should do or how to do that. It's just something you instinctively can kind of figure that out. So this is called a swipe. So I think that what I'm using is a bit of a sort of cake decorator sort of item. I'm not a cake decorator, so I don't really know for sure. But when you pull the white paint over top of the other colors, you can encourage some different cells to form, or some additional cells. You're also thinning out the paint, and so that the silicone can come to the surface a little more easily. Get tired of listening to me natter on yet? I'm already getting a little tired of nattering on myself. It's been a very quiet day though, so my nattering can fill a silence. Ooh, look at that paint running off. By the way, all the paint that runs off the side I make into jewelry, so I try not to waste it. So now I just decided there was a lot of white on the one side and not much on the other, and I just wanted to be a little more balanced, so I'm adding a little bit more white painting and then swiping from the white paint kind of into some of the color, on top of the color. And again, white is the heaviest pigment, so it tends to sink down. So that's why sometimes when you swipe the white over the colors, and you can get some really interesting movement of the colors up and down. Right now you see how thick that lay of paint is on there, so it's not that that's a big problem, but sometimes it takes the long time to dry if the paint is really thick. Oh, so now I'm breaking out the straw. There we go. That's another thing you can do just to see what kind of designs and what kind of effects you can get. No two paintings are ever exactly the same. There's so many variables, and that's what I like about pouring. You can kind of control things to a point, but really not totally. I found it's a technique that's hard to get really good at because it's so hard to control. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's like everything else in life. I find art in general is a really good lesson for life. There's a lot of parallels. Patience brings a lot of rewards with art and also with life. And persistence as well. Patience and persistence. 2 P words. Now we're going round and round, just trying to spread that design. I'm not convinced it moved very much. Sometimes I think the spinner only works if I make it go a little faster, but then it makes quite the mess, especially with a larger painting like this. That's why I just put that sign there, so I wouldn't get too much stuff all over the floor and all over my clothes. But yeah, you get a little bit of a spreading and an enlargement of the design of the painting. So yeah, there's some interesting things happening. I will take you on a journey to see all the little moments. Now, I took a look at this one and decided it also needed a little more white. In spite of the fact I do like it, but I just thought it needed a little bit of contrast, a little bit more punch. Punch, punch, punch. So there you have it, just pouring some more paint, or some more white paint on there, which is the background paint basically. 2/3 Floetrol, and there's no silicone in the white. And then I just want to blow it so it's not too distinct a line. I want to mess it up a little bit. They call that wrecking the paint, or I call it that anyway. Kind of wrecking the lines up a little bit, just so it doesn't look too like I just poured on white paint. Got to mess it up a little, make it look a little creative. And I don't know at the end of the day whether that improved it, but everything is just a choice, and everybody likes different things, and so there really isn't a wrong way and a right way to do a lot of this stuff. Sometimes when I watch my videos back, I think, oh, why did I do that? I liked it better before. And I know I've had people commenting in the comments saying, hey, I liked it at this point. Why did you change it? I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to stop myself. In this case, I think it gave it a little more interest, but I think it was okay without it too. So again, it's just a preference. I like contrast, so. And then I wanted not just have white in the middle. I needed a little bit of white elsewhere. Again, that's called balancing the composition. Yeah, and I wanted to do a little white on the other corner too. That was my thought process anyway. I just don't want a bunch of white in the middle and no white anywhere else. So just a little bit of white. Almost looks like petals of a flower in the corner there. And of course the silicone will pop up a few cells in there. I love those big round grayish purple cells. They're so pretty. Oh, and I was going to add some more white. I really just didn't like that gray and purple, did I? So while I'm, kind of waiting here, one of the things that I would say to people if they're wanting to start pouring, it really pays to watch a lot of videos first to really get a sense of what you really love and what you need, because you need different things for different types of pouring. There's different supplies, and so it's good to figure out what sort of technique you decide you really, really love and start with that one only. And also the biggest thing that a lot of new people don't pay enough attention to is the space. So you need a table that's really, really level. And even then, you also need to level your canvases. Even if you know the table under the canvas is level, that doesn't always mean your canvas is level. It's always good to make sure and to double check that, because that can wreck something really quick. You'll do your pour, you'll come back and a half an hour later and it'll have run off the side. Very important, because this paint's very fluid, as you can see by how easily I pull through it. So I ended up really liking this one. There's just so many moments of magic in here. Magic is the word of the day. And I've got that little stylus thing again. When you drag it through to get a little bit of a line coming out into that white, I just thought that was a really cool effect. And you wipe it off between each time, so you're not transferring white paint where you don't want white paint. There's so many details in this that I really love. I did notice that there's a definite insect vibe. In the middle of that white, you can see sort of a fly head and an eye. All right, so here's the moments. Look at those cool, intricate lines. So beautiful. Just the designs that you could never in a million years dream up and just paint that. You couldn't. And yet it just happens magically and accidentally almost. It's like accidentally on purpose. Look at those cells with all the different lines and colors. That's my favorite moment, yes. And look at just the concentric little colors in those cells. So pretty. And I really like those geometric lines. So awesome. And I do really like that color scheme. It's different for me. Very muted colors. And there's that centerpiece that I really like so much. That white that I added near the end. The long painting magical moments now, the big one, the actual commission. And by the way, I have already shown her the picture of it and she loves it. So hopefully it's going to go soon to its forever home after it's varnished. All right, so thank you so much for spending time with me here on my channel. If you've liked what you see, please think about subscribing, because that really helps me get towards that 1,000 subscriber goal. I'm less than 200 away, so it's starting to get exciting. Also, don't forget to like the video, and please comment and let me know what you liked about it, what you didn't, if you have any suggestions of what color scheme you'd want me to use, anything at all. I love to respond to comments. Okay, so hope you enjoyed it again, and peace and love, and we will see you next time.